We have arrived to match day 2 here in the MLS Next Pro Invitational as the Real Monarchs get set to host Crystal Palace from America First Field in Sandy, Utah. Welcome in. I'm Josh Toll. Last night, Hoffenheim defeated Colorado Rapids by a score of 1-0. You look at this English side, Crystal Palace coming from the Premier League 2 division. They're looking to also come over and upset Real Monarchs. Last year, Crystal Palace, 11 wins on the season. They finished 4th in the table over in the Premier League 2. Meanwhile, for Real Monarchs, this season, 6 wins on the year, just 1 win at home. They have struggled. They're trying to change that around here this evening. You look at their last game, they fell to the Colorado Rapids 2 side by a score of 4-1. So they're trying to bounce back here against a Crystal Palace team that is absolutely dangerous, one of the best scoring teams last year in Premier League 2. And they'll look to continue to be aggressive, try to get on that front foot, put pressure on this Monarch side, and see if they can net that first goal to get started early. As we'll take a look at our starting lineups, and we'll begin with Real Monarchs. For Real Monarchs, they are led by Jaime Senalave. And the keeper tonight is Gavin Beavers. 3 starts on the season, 4 saves. He does have 2 wins. You also look at Andres Gomez coming down from the first team. The 20-year-old Colombian has made 12 starts for the first team. He does have a goal and 4 assists on the year, but it's Elijah Paul for this Real Monarchs side. Leading the team in scoring, has 4 goals on the season. He started 7 games and 4 goals in that time. He can be dangerous. We'll see if he can get a little help from that first teamer in Andres Gomez. You also look at Bode Hidalgo, another first teamer down for Real Monarchs as they'll come out in a 4-3-3. Meanwhile, on the other side, Crystal Palace getting their first game here in the MLS Next Pro Invitational. They are led by head coach Darren Powell, the 4-2-3-1, and it will be Joe Whitworth between the sticks tonight. The 19-year-old last year played in 4 games. He also does have 2 caps with the first team. Then you look at Victor Akinwale up top, 6 goals on the season last year. That was second best on the team for the 18-year-old, but you look at the midfield, it's going to be all about Jack Wells Morrison. He'll wear the captain's armband. Last year, second on the team in minutes, and really, he's a guy that can sit deep. He can also get you in the attack. He was nominated for Premier League's 2 Player of the Season with 5 goals and 3 assists. So we'll see how he connects with that back line as well as that front midfield and ultimately Akinwale up top. It'll be interesting tonight. We'll have pretty much unlimited subs. Last night we saw 11 different subs after the half for Hoffenheim, so we could see that again, where you just get 11 on and then 11 off, as most of these teams here want to get more minutes for some of these younger players. Our officials tonight, Juan Almaced, he'll be the head referee in the middle. Zachary Werner, our assistant referee. Nathan Boone, our other assistant. And Joseph Simas, our 4th official, as we are underway from America First Field in Sandy, Utah. Josh Toll, thrilled to be with you here tonight. You look at this Real Monarchs side, Jaime Senalave talking with the media, talking about how they need to focus on their tactics tonight. They know that Crystal Palace, they're going to be physical. We want to see how they press against Palace and play out of the back. Mental part is going to be huge tonight as well. It's going to be a big thing here, playing a European side. They are really excited. This really turned their season around last year in the first Invitational. We'll see if that works here tonight. Real Monarchs will push up, and this nearly give it away. And here is Gomez. Gomez, that first teamer, 5'8", out of Colombia. 1 goal on the season as this is played over by Storley, getting his first appearance here with Real Monarchs. Storley began with U19 GAF in Spain before heading over to Costa Rica last season, as this is sent away by Caden Rodney. Again, you look at this Crystal Palace team last year. Ademola Ola Adebomi led the way with 8 goals on the season. We could see him off the bench here this evening. Look at both teams electing to switch things up here as they try to find some of the different stars. For Real Monarchs, playing some of these young players with a lot of first teamers. We'll see how that links up and transitions into tonight's game. Crystal Palace last year runners-up in the Premier League International Cup. It was a good season for them, 4th in the table, as this shot is going to be driven over the crossbar. Man City was top of the table as well in Premier League 2. Here, a great strike by Real Monarchs, but unable to tuck it underneath the crossbar. Can't get the dip, and no danger there for Joe Whitworth. Real Monarchs have struggled on the season. They're trying to get back into form, and this is a good game to build that mentality up. Work on some of those tactics, like James and Alave said, try to fix some of those kinks that have happened here in the past few weeks. Banks plays it out wide. Rodney on the overlap. And also look at Crystal Palace last year. At one point, they went on a 10-game unbeaten streak. So when they find their form, they can be dangerous. Of course, Crystal Palace really trying to get their legs right now in preseason here. Their season will begin next month. Dangerous opportunity here on the set piece. Scott Banks will line up. Banks last season with Bradford City. The Scotsman also on the U20, U21 side for Scotland. Banks sets up with the left foot. The service. Headed on and off target, but a great look there by Crystal Palace. Beautiful ball in here by Banks, but wide of the frame. Good opportunity, but unable to finish was Noah Watson. 20-year-old got his head to it, but just couldn't whip his head around quick enough. This ball played out to Nigro. He'll play it up the line. Real Monarchs trying to find some space, but they give it right back. Whitworth, 19 years old. Here's Phillips. Phillips, long ball, looking to go direct. Nodded back by Real Monarchs, and now sent away by Delins Pierre. Pierre has started every game that he has played in for the Monarchs this season. Crystal Palace last season, 45 goals scored. They allowed 42, though. Banks gives it up. Rodney trying to turn away on the touchline. Banks will play it back to midfield. And the Eagles will reset. Darren Powell come into his first full season as the manager of Crystal Palace. Of course, when Roy Hodgson took over for Crystal Palace, he brought up Paddy McCarthy, and that elevated Darren Powell to the manager position. Giveaway here by Crystal Palace. Real Monarchs can make him pay. Nyman stumbles, loses his footing, and let's see if this is going to go to the spot. And it looks like it's going to come out just past the top of the penalty area, about 19 yards out. We're going to have our first yellow of the game. Moses Nyman with a great chance here. Clearly just outside the box there on the foul. Committing the foul there was Killian Phillips, the 20-year-old. So Phillips with the first yellow card of the game. Now a dangerous set piece coming for Real Monarchs as they look for the first goal of the evening. What a confidence booster this could be for Real Monarchs if they can get on the scoreboard first at home. Ball right into the wall. So nothing happening on that set piece for the Monarchs. Here's Hidalgo, one of those first teamers. 9 starts this season with the first team, played in 14 games so far. Teams were allowed to bring up to 35 players, no age limit. These MLS Next clubs bring a lot down, first teamers down as well to get some extra minutes. This ball played out wide. Sent in, but headed away. Now sent back by Cardenas. Chance here off the volley and well off struck. Might have been a pass into the spot. Right there was Elijah Paul waiting. Real Monarchs last year, they finished the season strong with 6 home wins. They're trying to do that once again, trying if they can find some rhythm and momentum. Need to find some scores to go up with Elijah Paul. You look at Elijah Paul leading the team with 4 goals on the year. Tron Williams second with 3rd with 3 goals. And then you look at Diego Luna, who plays for the first team. He's right up there with 2 goals. Bertrand Jackson also with 2 goals on the season for Real Monarchs. He's hoping to get himself a look up with the first team. Good showcase for a lot of these players on both sides. Of course, that's the ultimate goal, get to that first team. Here's Pierre. Nyman playing it out to Width. Iskandarian steps inside. Gomez at the top of the area to his right foot. Now back to his left. Surveys. Gomez will give it a strike, and Whitworth there on the near post to make the save. Whitworth last year in 4 games did not have a win. 2 draws and 2 losses. It's really Olin Goodman who led the charge in between the sticks last year for Crystal Palace. He had 6 clean sheets on the year. Iskandarian right at Whitworth. Iskandarian looking dangerous on that shot. And you like the confidence right now of Real Monarchs, striking from distance, making Whitworth have to work. Plenty of room on the shot attempt. Plenty of power, too, behind it. This ball played out wide. Rodney. He'll drop it off to Wells Morrison. Wells Morrison, nice pass through. Wells Morrison doing a great job finding Akinwallia right there on that pass, but Crystal Palace not able to maintain possession. Again, talking with Jaimes and Olave about how this series here, this invitational, will help the team. Talked about last year. They went off on a winning streak. It really changed the mentality, and the mentality has to be there tonight. A good result can improve, and they can show that they can compete with any team, whether that's Europe or MLS Next Pro. But also, he just wants to see a strong mentality in this game and moving forward. That is going to be big. More consistency is what he wants to see. He also wants to give players experience in this game. Another opportunity here, but slow roller on the ground. Easy stop for Whitworth. Elijah Paul had a good look, but no power behind that shot attempt. Crystal Palace in those beautiful blue and red tops with the blue shorts. Sometimes you'll see the blue and red stripes, as they have just the complete blocks on each side. Meanwhile, for Real Monarchs, with that tan diagonal with these white kits. Whitworth. Watson, the 20-year-old, pushes up. Gomez brings it back. Tries to split 2 defenders there, but good recovery by Plange. Plange, 20 years old last year. He was loaned out to Lincoln City. Wells Morrison. Cardenas, the 17-year-old. Onto the near side, Plange. Nice little overlapping ball to Cardenas, and we'll have another foul. Set piece here coming for Crystal Palace. Martinez going toward the end line, and there you see coming over was Keller Storley in his first game with Real Monarchs. Eagles looking for the first goal of the game. Always talk to coaches and they talk about how important set pieces are. Let's see if Scott Banks can take advantage here. Some pushing and shoving going on in the area. Killian Phillips, the player being pushed back for Crystal Palace. Some more pushing and shoving. Phillips right now with a lone yellow card. Now Banks just waiting to go ahead. Always going to have Jocelyn. And now we have the go ahead. Back post ball. Headed down. Repelled away. That was Phillips who got a good look there for Crystal Palace. Phillips down the line, but no one ahead. Sometimes you like that when you see a player get a little bit aggressive, start pushing some other players around, just get some a little bit more of mental focus into the game. Of course, you don't want to go over bounds. Reed drops it back. Watson up the gut. Gomez will drop it back to Storley. Here's Gavin Beavers. Fernando Delgado getting the main starts for Real Monarchs this season. Fourth appearance of the year for Beavers here tonight. Beavers does have 2 wins on the season, though. Can you go back to yesterday's game? Hoffenheim's U23 side defeating Colorado Rapids by a score of 1-0. Abdul Karama, the lone goal. Of course, you have these 2 European teams from Germany and England. And then you have the Vancouver Whitecaps, Colorado Rapids 2, and this Real Monarchs side from MLS Next Pro. Nice dummy ball down the line. See if Real Monarchs can make something of it. Cut back. Chance here at the top. Given out wide. Hidalgo crossing at the top of the 6. Gets back in position. Nice build up there by Real Monarchs, but unable to do anything. And we're going to have another yellow card. This portion of the match is brought to you by Zions Bank, official bank of Real Monarchs. Saying Killian Phillips with that yellow card, and they changed the first one to Dylan Reed. Hidalgo plays it back. Nigro. Crystal Palace will play again on Friday. All teams will have a day off tomorrow for training and rest. They'll take on Hoffenheim's U23 side. Service. Chances here for the Monarchs, but unable to collect a goal as of yet. Whitworth. Watson. Cardenas. Wells and Morrison able to elude one defender. Diagonal ball. Wanted Ume on the opposite side of the field. See the tugging of the jersey right there. Akinwale was working his way down. Lenspierre, guilty. Banks. Beavers thinking about springing a counter. Nice ball there. But one back right away by Crystal Palace. Rodney. This portion of the match is presented by Maker's Line, exclusive construction partner of Real Monarchs. Patience now by Crystal Palace. Wells Morrison. And he's not afraid to drop back deep and attack when need be. Plange. Cardenas. Cardenas wanted to reconnect with Plange, but that pass was cut out. Good job there by Palacio. Palacio looking to get it on the return, unable to get it to him. Plange sidesteps one defender, strikes. And Beavers able to make the stop. He was able to get around Moses Nyman to give himself a good look. But Beavers able to see that ball all the way through. Good winning back of the ball there by Wells Morrison. They're playing. Steps around the defender and Nyman, and then Plange with the effort, but unable to make the keeper move. Hidalgo, the first teamer. Too heavy of a touch there. Paul unable to get to the ball. Last year, Crystal Palace, 42 points on the season. Look at it, if their final 3 games were different in Premier League 2, they could have possibly finished second in the table. I went to Liverpool at 46, and Chelsea was third with 43. Meanwhile, for Real Monarchs, they're trying to move up in the standings here on the season. Better record on the road this year for the Monarchs than at home. It was actually the same for Crystal Palace last year. Palace on the road, 7 wins, 4 wins at home. Hidalgo striding forward. Cuts it back. Chance here. Great look there by Iskandarian, but blocked in front. Gomez with the left. Blocked once again, this time by Rodney. Monarchs still controlling, and Rodney wins the ball right back. Tried to go for the nutmeg. Rodney not having it. Crystal Palace now in transition. Opportunity maybe here for Plange. Plange. Little step over to the right foot. Plange. Oh! Great move here by Plange to create space. Nice ball out. You see the effort right there by Real Monarchs. Nyman and then Plange about 16 yards out. Sends it over the crossbar. Beautiful footwork right there. Plange 2 outs with England's U20 side. Paul. Jackson gives it back to Paul. Switching sides now. Gomez. Iskandarian drops it back. Chance here, played into the spot. Paul! Paul was waiting. Not a good touch. But once again, nothing on target. This is where you need to capitalize. This has been the problem for Real Monarchs this season. Have to bury that. Well, you could say on the other end, too, for Plange. Just the 2 bookings so far to Dylan Reed and Phillips of Crystal Palace. 0-0 as we approach the 26th minute. Josh Toll with you this evening from America First Field in Sandy, Utah. Home of Real Salt Lake. Nigro nearly won the ball back. Ume, though, able to stay on top of it, gives it up. Gomez. Ume. Palacio. Gomez overruns the ball, able to recollect. Fatago. It was Reed that took that shot from Hidalgo. Wells Morrison. Been a part of Crystal Palace since he was 6 years old. Family has season tickets at Selhurst Park in the main stand. Plange crossing, nodded away. Jackson has some room to work with. Gomez. Gomez slowing it up. Iskandarian will play it out wide. Sent in. Good look there at Darren Powell on the bottom of your screen. This portion of the match is presented by University of Utah Health, trusted health partner of the Real Monarchs family and yours. Storley, near side. Monarchs switching sides to the opposite to Gomez. Coming over there was Caden Rodney to play it out. Rodney's seen time with the English U18 side. Last year, 19 starts in 24 games. Did have an appearance with the first team against Oxford United in the Caribou Cup. Gomez. The strike. He wanted that back post. Just went over the outstretched arm of Whitworth. Gomez wanted that top right 90. Just didn't have the angle. Bonding time for all these teams here in the MLS Next Pro Invitational. Of course, you look at Hoffenheim as well as Crystal Palace's U21s coming over from overseas. Great video of training from Crystal Palace that you can check out on their website. A couple players, I believe Whitworth was one of them, throwing around a baseball. Of course, that's big here in the States where it's cricket overseas. So this foul coming behind for Real Monarchs. There you can see the clip of the leg. And now another opportunity to hear for Scott Banks. Banks last year 6 goals with Bradford City. Ten different players on loan last year for Crystal Palace. Banks. Oh, and that finds its way in the right corner. And Banks puts Crystal Palace on the scoreboard first in the 31st minute. Beautiful strike. Look at this from Scott Banks, left-footed. Nothing Beavers could do about this. Top right corner, upper 90. And that's the goal you want for Crystal Palace. A thing of beauty to begin the game here in the 31st minute. You always work on that on the training pitch. Paying it off for Banks. Ball played out wide. Real Monarchs now looking for a quick equalizer. Banks to midfield, headed away. Pierre drops it off, gets it on the return. Nyman. Hidalgo. Gomez calling for the ball. Hidalgo will play back to midfield. Santiago creating a little room. Nice little slip pass. Gomez near the corner. Palacio. Palacio, this ball deflected by Plange. Ball into the area. A little bit more than 10 minutes remains in the opening half. Crystal Palace's U21 side up 1-0. Goal coming just moments ago by Scott Banks. A little breathing room for them maybe here before half. Of course, they want to add another tally to the scoreboard. See if they'll get a little bit more aggressive, try to get Real Monarchs on their heels. Monarchs on the season, they do have 10 different goal scorers, but they've just scored 19 goals on the year. They really need to find who's going to be that running mate with Elijah Paul. Jackson. Shoulder to shoulder there between him and Rodney. Off to Ball. Storley inches up. Akinwale. Plange. Denied at the top of the area. The strike from long range. Beavers goes down and make the stop. The tip in, and offside flag is up. Akinwale thought he could get his first goal. The flag went up. Palacio in his first game here with Real Monarchs. He's played 2 with the first team. Nyman. Corner coming for Real Monarchs. Monarchs will bring the big boys up. There's Nyman. We'll head over to the corner. Inward swinging ball. The other direction by Une. Une, out of Ireland, 18 years old, came over from Cork City to Crystal Palace. Intercepted by the Eagles. Good job there, stepping in front. It was Cardenas. Not able to do anything there on the advance forward. Gomez in the channel. Works his way through. Gomez to the top of the area, blocked in front. And that looked like a hit off Elijah Paul. Dago. Frustration there from Real Monarchs. Great look. Paul standing in the way. Teams here with 3 shots on goal on the evening. Real Monarchs control the possession 56 to 44. It's actually just our first corner of the evening there moments ago by Nyman. Some change remains here in the first half. Dago back to Gomez. He's been active here in the first half. Gives the ball away. Sent to midfield by Wells Morrison. Goal coming 10 minutes ago from Scott Banks on a set piece. Ronnie pleading his case. It's Frank Ume pleading his case. Player slow to get up. Frank on his feet. Looking for a late equalizer here in the first half. Playing, striding out. It's by 2 defenders. Nice move to slip through. Plange. Still controlling possession. Just showed off his agility here in this opening half. Good quickness there. The 20-year-old. Subs as of yet. Saw a lot in the second half of yesterday's game. Down from Crystal Palace. Staff out. So now Phillips is going to go off the field. This is the off-the-field treatment rule that they have in MLS Next Pro, as the trainer will look at him and he'll have to remain off the field for 3 minutes. Just really trying to prevent players from faking an injury. So now you also look at Crystal Palace with a man down until we go to break. If Crystal Palace were to sub someone on, then it would be all right. So there you see Phillips walking down the line, and they're actually going to allow him on. So the referee deemed that it wasn't a faked injury, able to come off and back on the field. Gomez crossing. Gomez able to regain control, now loses it. Watson. Really late for Real Monarchs. Poor giveaway there by Crystal Palace. Lyman on the near corner, second corner of the game for Real Monarchs. Crystal Palace has yet to take a corner. The delivery headed down. Great look there on Keller Storley. Storley, though, can't get it by the near post as it goes right. So Wickowitz will send us away. 3 minutes of stoppage time added on. Gomez sprinting forward. Gomez looking for Paul. Headed away by Phillips. Jackson with the right into the stomach of Whitworth. Beautiful ball over by Paul. Killing Phillips in the perfect position to head this way. Phillips doesn't get that. That's going to be a great opportunity for Elijah Paul. Second chance there by Jackson, right at the keeper. Whitworth with 4 saves here in the opening half of play. See if he's going to run out of room. He will. Palacio. Nyman. Gomez. Gomez plays it out. Chance here on the cross. Ume. Knocked over. Is going to come out and take this kick. Let's see if he sends it all the way down the field. Reed. Was Morrison near side. Cardenas, Flange. Cardenas on the overlap. Ricochet right into the hands of Beavers. Beavers will roll it out, and there is our whistle to end the first half. So after 45 minutes of play, Crystal Palace will head the locker room up 1-0. The lone goal coming from Scott Banks in the 31st minute. It was a beautiful strike on the set piece, and Crystal Palace has the lead after 45 minutes. Our score at the half is Crystal Palace 1, Real Monarchs 0. There's a lot going on in the world of MLS and MLS Next Pro this week. Michelle and Samara get you up to speed on this week's MLS Pros Next Match Invitational.
It's time for the second annual MLS Next Pro Invitational. 3 MLS Next Pro teams will travel to Salt Lake City to face off against 2 European clubs in the league's annual international competition. I'm Michelle Montaigne, alongside Samara Perez, with everything you need to know about the 5 matches spanning 8 days in Salt Lake.
The MLS Next Pro trio in charge of defending the Invitational title includes 2 teams already familiar with the competition, Real Monarchs and Colorado Rapids 2. They'll be joined by Western ally Whitecaps FC 2.
Now, across the 5 matches, there are a couple things to keep an eye out for. First and foremost, last year's top performer of the entire competition came from host side Real Monarchs. Tyrone Mondi stood out on last year's international stage. Look for him to try to repeat that in 2023. And second, remember, the competition is based on points per league at the end of all matches, not per individual teams. Earning points follows the same format as regular season scoring in MLS Next Pro, so each MLS Next Pro club is looking to earn as many points for the host league. Last season, MLS Next Pro came out on top with 10 total points across all matches.
The league also went unbeaten in last year's edition. The 2023 Invitational kicks off on July 18th with Hoffenheim under-23s taking on the best Western Conference side in Rapids 2. The midweek contest continues the following day with the return of former MLS Next Pro head coach Darren Powell meeting with Jamison Olave's Real Monarchs. Friday features a European battle with the German side facing the London team. On Monday, Hoffenheim under-23s take on the team that accumulated the most points in last year's challenge. The competition wraps up with the Eagles going up against the Young Caps on July 25th. Fans from around the world will be able to watch the MLS Next Pro Invitational exclusively on MLSNextPro.com. For those interested in attending, there are tickets available on rsl.com. Michelle and I will join you from Salt Lake, so we'll see you again real soon.
Also coming up, 2 MLS Next Pro clubs will host Wrexham AFC during the popular European club's U.S. tour. LA Galaxy 2 will host Wrexham on Saturday. Then Wrexham heads east to face Philadelphia Union 2 and the hometown of celebrity co-owner Rob McElhenney. All of these matches will air exclusively on MLSNextPro.com. Take a look at the upcoming schedule here for this MLS Next Pro Invitational. Everyone with a day off tomorrow, and then a Hoffenheim U23 hosting this Crystal Palace U21 side. Real Monarchs will take on Hoffenheim on Monday. Tuesday, you have Crystal Palace take on the Whitecaps. They're the one team that has yet to play in this game. Then we mentioned those friendlies against Wrexham AFC. So 2 more games you're going to want to tune in for next week. Just everything happening here in MLS Next Pro, and great Pro Invitational here, as we are Crystal Palace 1-0 at half against Real Monarchs. They look for their first 3 points. Hoffenheim got 3 points yesterday in the win against Rapids too, and that's how this is going to be based off, is the point system. So obviously most points, you want that. Last year you look at Tyrone Monty and what he did for Real Monarchs. We'll see if Real Monarchs can jump back into this game here in the second half. They're going to have their work cut out for them. They've been dangerous there in the final third, but have been unable to convert any chances on Crystal Palace. Joe Whitworth, he's made 4 saves already in this game here this evening. So he's come out strong. You look at the 1 goal coming from Scott Banks. Is here we are at the half. And now we'll take a look back to Sunday in league action. We had some clutch goals and exciting finishes. Here's a sampling of the best from Sunday in MLS Next Pro.
Rodriguez looking to slot it through. Orahel again. Back, top of the 18, cut inside, shot, and it's in! New York cutting off passing lanes. Trying to push forward is Elias. Cutting in, and he's dispossessed. Bad pass, but it falls back to New York. A shot from distance, and that's in! Working that far end line again. Chicago trying to send it through the box. Broken up. Scored the 2nd goal for New York this match. Here's his approach. Shot. Saved! One of their 5 second half subs. Here's Monis, and it's in. Chicago's up. Oh, and he's got the stanky leg for the celebration, and Chicago wins their first shootout victory.
Solis, Juninho, Medina, Almaguer in the midfield, Tablante, Williams, Taifi, and Freeman. Certainly a top-level scorer in this league. This one deflects in! An own goal! 1-0 Orlando! Jackson Conway equalizes. 1-1 in the 45th minute. OCB getting set to make its first sub of the night at the next stoppage. Firmino! Incredible! Probably won't have a ton of them, but you have to give Orlando credit for the way it's played here. Another takeaway, big opportunity in front, it's in! And Tamimi in for Tyler Young. Oh, how about this? OCB!
Alex Alcala is also a player that scored in the last match. He has Gino Vivi to his left. The Defiants defensively forced 2 own goals by North Texas. Gino Vivi and Aaron Bibu all scoring. And now LA pressing forward. Nice cut back, the shot! On a short-term loan with the first team and has made the most of this experience. Tevez through, and Dylan Tevez. The penalty, perfect. Must score to continue. Mitrovic with the stop, not enough power behind it. And Novak Mitrovic helps his side earn the extra point here at home for LA Galaxy 2. 2 stops here in our kicks from the mark.
Just a few weeks ago, Vancouver's Levante Johnson became the 50th MLS Next Pro player to sign an MLS first-team contract. Samara Perez sat down with the 2023 MLS Super Draft pick to talk about his fast rise in the Whitecaps organization.
Everyone, we are back with a new MLS Next Pro player profile. I'm Samara Perez. Joining us from Vancouver, let's welcome in Levante Johnson, one of the most recent MLS signings. Levante, welcome and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Congratulations on becoming the 50th MLS Next Pro player to sign a Major League Soccer contract. How are you feeling about this incredible achievement?
I'm very, very grateful that the club, has signed me and seen the potential to try to push me up to the first team and hopefully get some minutes there.
Yes, Levante, back in December, you were chosen by Whitecaps FC as the 29th overall pick in the 2023 MLS Super Draft, and now you're officially a first-team signee. To what do you attribute your rapid success?
Honestly, the setup here is really world class. You see guys from last year's MLS Next Pro team, Simon Betcher, Ali Ahmed, also making the jump to the first team. So seeing them also gives us that little bit of extra motivation to push. And if we start doing well, then obviously the first team staff will recognize that and promote us up.
Talk to us about what that transition was like from youth to becoming a professional soccer player.
In my youth days, I really only played for two teams, two clubs growing up, and my first coach was from when I was 8 to about 13, and he kind of laid the foundation. He was a really good coach. We were, I think, 10, 11, playing 3-5-2 formation, keeping possession. So it was a really eye-opening experience for me, considering I grew up playing basketball, and then after that I went to Masters Football Academy kind of for the rest of my time until I left the country. But with Masters, he was a junior girls, was a really good coach for us. Taught me a lot of technical. There's a lot of things we could have learned. We learned from him, and then I made the jump and I went to Europe. I went to England for a couple of years, played non-league there. I was in Derby for a little bit, and decided to go to college to try to continue my dreams of becoming a professional soccer player.
Wow. Well, you had a different sport there. You mentioned basketball. When did you decide that you wanted to pursue soccer instead?
Honestly, when I was 4 or 3, I had a basketball net, and Vince Carter was my favorite player for the Toronto Raptors. Grew up watching him and Tracy McGrady, and basketball was like my only love, my inspiration. And my mom forced me to go to a French immersion school, and at the French immersion school, they only played soccer. No one else played basketball, so I was kind of forced into playing soccer with the rest of my friends and ended up loving it. And I was pretty good, and they told me, hey, come try out for our team, and I made the team, and from there on, it was history.
Wow, and I have to ask, who's your favorite soccer player of all time?
All time, Thierry Henry.
Can you share what your college experience was like?
College was a wild ride. We started off kind of in if you're going levels in college, there's kind of everyone wants to play at the D1 level. When I first went in, I didn't get the chance to play the D1 level. I started off in JUCO and I started off in Florida. And we had a pretty successful year, ended up losing in the finals for our national tournament. And then COVID happened, so I had to find a new school because they closed our men's program. Ended up making my way to Utah to another junior college. So the Florida to Utah transition was pretty crazy. And but we had a really good team, ended up winning our national championship. And then I got my first D1 move. I went to Seattle University. We had another successful year there, won our conference, and then finally, my last move for my 4th school in the 4th year was Syracuse University. We ended up winning everything that was in front of us, literally.
Lots of moves there. What difficult challenges do you remember facing on your journey to professional soccer?
There's a lot, honestly, but the biggest one I'd say was adaptations to different environments, different players, different coaching styles. So, it's easier, I guess, when you're on a soccer team to adapt to different countries, different places, because when you get there, you kind of have your family already there that you just have to mend your chemistry and that relationships together, which we did well, and I have a lot of friends now all over the country.
Can you share with us what your first team experiences have been like?
So I originally was with the first team for preseason. So when I first came in, I was, the level was a lot different to college. It was faster, more technical, more consistent. And so it took a little bit to get used to at first, but as we went on and playing MLS Next Pro and along with the other guys, I've learned a lot, and I've adapted to the situation well. And so now playing with the first team is not as hard, and I quite enjoy it.
That's awesome to hear. Now, finally, tell us about what your aspirations are moving forward.
Obviously, as a soccer player, everybody wants to play games, everybody wants to be a regular starter. So first of all, if I want to establish myself well in the first team and kind of become one of those regular starters for the first team and give my impact on the game that way.
Levante, we are so excited for you. Congratulations once again on this huge move, and thanks so much for making the time to chat with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for kicking it with us. We'll catch you again next time.
One half in the books here in the MLS Next Pro Invitational between Real Monarchs and Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace up 1-0 as we take a look back at the highlights from the opening half. They're a great strike from Real Monarchs, but unable to get through. This one headed on. Great opportunity by Watson, but unable to get it on frame. Here, Gomez, right on the near post. Whitworth sliding over to make the save. He would have 4 saves in that opening half. Here's Iskandarian right at Whitworth. Whitworth has been in the absolute right spot every time. Here's a nice move by Plange. Getting to the right, gets a good look, but right at Gavin Beavers, the keeper for the Monarchs. Both teams had opportunities. Here, this ball would find its way to the right foot of Plange. Plange splits the defenders with the right foot once again just over the crossbar. He was active in that opening half, showing his agility. And there you would have a foul called against Real Monarchs, and here would be Scott Banks in the 31st minute, upper right corner, and he gets the first tally of the game for Crystal Palace. A beautiful ball in there, nothing Beavers could do about that one. That was in the perfect spot, upper 90 for Banks. And now Crystal Palace will look to build off that, and here's going to be the question. How many subs are we going to see? Unlimited amount of subs. There's 25 players, so I guess you can only go up to 25 players on the roster. Hoffenheim yesterday made 11 subs after the break. We'll see what happens here in this game. It does look like we'll have one I see out there for sure. You think Killian Phillips is going to come off sitting with the yellow card. So Jake Grant in for Killian Phillips. The other man, Dylan Reed, with the yellow card as well for Crystal Palace. So we saw 6.5 for Hoffenheim. It won't be the case for either of these sides. Just the one sub so far. Hosting Crystal Palace's U21 side here from America First Field in Sandy, Utah. Josh Toll with you for this MLS Next Pro Invitational, the second of its kind. Last year was all about the MLS Next Pro teams dominating, but so far Hoffenheim with the win, 1-0, and now Crystal Palace hoping to do the same thing here tonight against Real Monarchs. Here's Elijah Paul, team's leading scorer. He'll kick it out. Jackson, Nigro. 4 different first-teamers for this Real Monarch side. This is deflected up into the air and now sent away here by Crystal Palace as Cardenas gained to that ball. Nigro with the captain's armband. Jackson trying to sneak his way up into that first team, and that's really a good showcase for all these players, showing that they're worthy to move up, whether it's for Crystal Palace's top squad or for Real Monarchs, in this case, Real Salt Lake. This is where Real Salt Lake plays their games. Of course, Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. Look at Crystal Palace 2 last year. They finished 4th in the standings. Their first team ultimately finishing 11th in the Premier League. Real Monarchs currently 12th in the standings in the Western Conference. Other 2 MLS Next teams here are Colorado Rapids 2 and Vancouver Whitecaps. Hoffenheim, the only other European club. So just lone sub and Jake Grant. Crystal Palace did have 7 clean sheets on the year, and they would love to get this invitational started out with a clean sheet. last year was Tyler Mondi that went off for Real Monarchs. Not on the roster for this evening. Gomez turns, drops it back. Press here by Crystal Palace. Challenge. We did have 2 yellow cards in the first half. Both going against Crystal Palace. Just a warning here, no yellow. Angle ball. Just nodded away by Cardenas, but right back to Real Monarchs. Nigro. We go inside. Paul. Poor contact there by Elijah Paul. That's one he would like back. He's not going to make too many mistakes like that. A striker has a knack for the goal. Off balance. Slicing away. This ball sent out by Whitworth. Fade to space. To the near post. Hanks' goal coming in the 31st minute off a set piece. It was a thing of beauty. Nigro, who's third on the team in tackles on the season with 23 coming into tonight. Year-old Pierre up the middle. Storley in his first game with the club. Gomez, the first teamer, pushing up. He has numbers with him, left and right. He'll go right. Jackson gets it by Whitworth. Let's see if the flag stays down. It will. Real Monarchs have the tying goal in the 51st minute. It's Jackson getting the Monarchs on the scoreboard. Gomez pushing the charge, plays it out wide. Jackson just onside. Whitworth couldn't get over to make the save, and we are all knotted up at one apiece. So you like what Jameson Olave had to say to his club there in the break. Coming out scoring in the opening 5 minutes of play. Jackson coming into this evening, they had 2 goals on the season. Force a mistake here from Crystal Palace. He also wondered if maybe they can get some tired legs out there from the Eagles. Being that they're just about to get in season next week, really working on their conditioning still. When you look at Real Monarchs, just past the halfway point in MLS Next Pro. So conditioning won't be an issue for them. Of course, with the unlimited subs, that does help as well. Nigro. Plange with him. Pierre. Jameson Olave talked about this game, talking about wanting to win, wanting to see change in the mentality of his club. I saw a good change in that, good tactics to begin here the second half. It was a good counter led by Gomez. Plange. Scoot that by Nigro. Couldn't get it down the channel, though. Idea was there by Plange. Execution, though, off. You look at Darren Powell taking over for Patty McCarthy, who's now the assistant coach under Roy Hodgson. Hodgson, you look at 75 years old. He's coached 22 different clubs in 8 different countries. Banks, who has a lone goal for Palace. Nice little through ball. Brought back for Plange. Rodney. Rodney knocked over, and we'll get a whistle here. It's going to go against the goal scorer of Real Monarchs and Jacobson. See what kind of service here Banks can have. Scotsman will line up. Banks. Storley able to head it away, and this will be a throw. Crystal Palace team last year, 4th in the table. 10-game unbeaten streak at one point. You go back for the Rapids, they had an 11-game unbeaten streak earlier this season here in MLS Next Pro. Rodney. Iskandarian. Hidalgo loses possession. That was Grant there, the substitution. Grant coming on for Killing Phillips. Poor giveaway here by the Monarchs. Banks turns away. Banks wanted a foul, pleading his case. This portion of the match is brought to you by Zion's Bank, official bank of the Real Monarchs. If this game were to end up tied after 90 minutes, we would go to a shootout. So we'll see what happens here. Still plenty of time, though, remaining. This being only the second game here, the MLS Next Pro Invitational, with Hoffenheim getting the win over Rapids 2 last night by a score of 1-0. Abdul Karama with a lone goal in that. Monarchs have struggled at home on the season, just the one win. Could possibly get their second here in this friendly. Last year, Crystal Palace better on the road with 7 wins. They only had 5 at home. Same goes for Real Monarchs. This year, better on the road as well. Collision there between Plange and Banks. Ball knocked out. Plange slow to get up. We're going to have a yellow card handed out to the Monarchs. And this is going to go against Nigro. So the captain with the yellow. There you see the chop with the left leg. Great job this evening by our officiating crew, led by Juan Almaced in the middle. Zachary Werner and Nathan Boone, our assistants, and our fourth official, Joseph Simas. Banks sets up with that dangerous left foot. Back post. On the side of the webbing. Great ball there by Banks. Plains once again getting an opportunity, but sending it to the side of the webbing. I have to think Plains just might be close to getting a goal this evening. He's had an opportunity with the feet, now with the head. Banks crossing, repelled away. So we're going to have some subs come on here for Crystal Palace in a matter of moments. No surprise. Plange.
No, just waiting to see where he goes. It's not on.
First corner of the night here for Crystal Palace. Banks setting up for an inward swinging ball. And just like we saw in the first half, some pushing and shoving in the area. Service. Gomez bringing a counter. On the ground, as well as Morrison doing enough to slow up Gomez on the play. Slow to get off the turf. Reed. Ronnie slows it up, all the way back to Whitworth. Paul trying to apply the press. Cardenas inside. Plange. Plange back post ball, and it's a thing of beauty. And denied by Beavers. The follow-up stopped again by Beavers. Great cross by Plange, Crystal Palace, though, denied by Beavers. Gavin Beavers with a tremendous save. Akinwale diving forward. Beavers making the stop, and then here's another opportunity, and then you get the kick save by Beavers, denying the second goal possibly of Scott Banks. Rodney. Trying to create some space. He'll just relay it back near midfield. Grant. Gomez. A chance to push up. On ball forward. Jackson, who has a lone goal for the Monarchs. Jackson to the spot. Grant getting to it. Nyman. Palacio. Nyman, little scoop pass. Gomez. Ronnie there to slow it down for Crystal Palace. This portion of the match is presented by Makers Line, exclusive construction partner of Real Monarchs. This is about the time you'll usually see the subs in a normal match. Unlimited subs, we'll see when that takes place. Now we'll have 6 subs for Crystal Palace coming on. Here you can see them lined up. Now Nascimento, the 60-year-old, will come in. He'll replace Luke Plange. Ola Adabomi will come in for Victor Akinwale, so last year's team leading scorer now on the field. Fionn Mooney will come in for the goal scorer and Scott Banks. Jaden Raymond also in for Jack Wells Morrison. Wolfie Jmaid in for Rio Cardenas. David Obu in for Dylan Reed. So 6 players coming on for the Eagles. Fresh set of legs. And you're going to want to watch out for Adamola Ola Adabomi. Last year, 8 goals for the club. Fionn Mooney, who also just subbed on, had 3 last year. Nigro, who has the yellow card for the Monarchs. Jackson cuts it across. Left-footed shot, blocked in front. Nigro trying to create a little more space for the cross, back post. Paul was there for the Monarchs, but couldn't link up. Of course, Crystal Palace playing Friday against Hoffenheim. That'll be at 10 p.m. Eastern. All games held right here at America First Field in Sandy, Utah. This one's going to do a great job hosting this invitational, the second time. This portion of the match is presented by University of Utah Health, trusted health partner for the Real Monarchs family and yours. Watson. So Watson, one of the few subs that didn't come off. Caden Ronnie also out there, as well as Franco Ume. Then add in the keeper, Joe Whitworth. 7 subs now in the second half for Crystal Palace. Gomez trying to go shoulder to shoulder, unable to do so as he knocks over Fionn Mooney, the 19-year-old. Raymond. Adabomi. Mooney. Slip ball. Palace calls a foul. Not going to get it. Pierre will now come in. Blasio will go out. Also in will be Griffin Dillon. Andres Gomez will head off to the Monarchs. Anthony Arias will be the final sub there in this 3-sub. These 3 subs can bring to the Monarchs. He's played in 15 games on the season, started 12 of those. Bobby Pierre has started every game in the season, comes in 3rd on the team in minutes as well. Goal in the game coming in the 31st minute on a set piece by Scott Banks. Bertrand Jackson 20 minutes later would score for the Monarchs. Jackson to the spot, a chance here, blocked aside. Great block there by Watson, getting in front of that shot attempt. Iskandarian coming up to get the strike. Watson in the perfect position to deny that opportunity. Here's a look back. Jackson crossing it, coming up. Iskandarian, and there you see the leg of Watson getting the ball as Rivera and Anderson now will sub on. Off will go Iskandarian, who had that opportunity. Story after 72 minutes of play, his first appearance for the Monarchs, will head off. 5 subs used for the Monarchs here. 7 for Crystal Palace. Just under 20 minutes remains. See how much stoppage time is added on. Okay, no extra time. Shootouts if this game were to end tied. Nyman will play it out. Nigro now on the opposite side of the field. Cross. And then on the side position there was the Monarchs. It was Owen Anderson, who had a good cross initially. success this Palace side had last year. Runners up in the Premier League International Cup. Away from the table ultimately, but they could have finished higher. Those final 3 games would have gone in their favor. Obu. Corner here for the Eagles. So Banks taking the corners and the set pieces early in the game. Now it's going to be Jaden Raymond. The 19-year-old. See much in the way of set pieces here in the second half. In their lone goal off a set piece. Meanwhile, the Real Monarchs getting theirs in the run of play. Hard challenge on the far side of the pitch. And we're going to have the booking. First booking in the second half here for Palace. Elijah Paul, the player helped up for the Monarchs. So Franco Ume handed the yellow. Nyman plays it down the line. Corner here for the Monarchs. Good setup right there from Nyman finding Nigro. Headed back. Chipped in. It was intended for Bobby Pierre, but you might want to take this on the first touch. See if you can get something on frame, make Whitworth have to work. Try to get in and make a stop. Maybe an opportunity just missed right there for the Monarchs, thinking pass first instead of score opportunity. Look at the importance of points in this MLS Next Pro Invitational. 3 points if you get an outright win. If it does go to shootout, the winning team gets 2 points, the losing team gets 1. Here for Palace, they're thinking about playing quick. They will. Raymond. Nascimento, the 60-year-old out of Portugal. Overland Company wanted a foul there, not going to get it. Academy, what they produced. You got players like Zaha, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Moses, to name a few. These Eagle players trying to work their way up to that first team. Same for Real Monarchs. Let's see. 3 first-team players for Real Salt Lake go off here moments ago on the substitutions. Shots on goal, 5 for Real Monarchs, 4 for Crystal Palace. Possession lopsided. 59% for the Monarchs. 41 for Crystal Palace. Approaching the 80th minute. America First Field in Sandy, Utah. Match day 2 of MLS Next Pro Invitational. Hoffenheim's U23 side in the first victory by a score of 1-0 over Colorado Rapids 2. And we'll see which one of these two teams possibly can come up with 3 points or if we'll settle for 2 in a shootout. A few remaining starters on for Crystal Palace. Raymond. Cemento. Plays an early ball, repelled away. Coaches, you gotta be happy with the fight that you've seen from your team. Of course, both will have plenty to work on coming out of this game and tomorrow's training day. Crystal Palace trying to get their condition in, trying to find their form here. Their season begins next month. Raymond. Mooney to his left. All teams off Saturday and Sunday. Monarchs will take on Hoffenheim on Monday to resume play here in MLS Next Pro Invitational. And Vancouver will make their way in, replacing Colorado Rapids. Our collision. Paul. Going down was Watson. Paul sneaks through the ball, and that's kicked in, and Monarchs take a 2-1 lead. It's the sub, Owen Anderson, in the 83rd minute, getting the rebound and giving Real Monarchs a 1-goal lead. Watson goes to ground here. This allows Paul to get space, to get a quality shot on. Whitworth able to make the save but can't scoop the ball up, and Anderson goes to the right side and gets the goal for the Monarchs. Big moment there for Owen Anderson. Whitworth can cover that ball up if he can scoop it, but it bounces off his chest, allowing Anderson to recycle the ball. So we always hear coaches say, continue to attack the net, try to get a rebound, clean up the junk if you can, and that's exactly what Anderson did. Let's see what Crystal Palace does here with a little bit more than 5 minutes remaining. Also see how much stoppage time is added on in this game. That could be key here for the Eagles. Paul gives it away. Nascimento out wide. Blocked aside by Bobby Pierre. Well, Adebomi had a chance. Pierre, though, in the right spot as Mooney will head over to the far corner. Inward swinging ball. Sent away by Delence Pierre. Raymond. Nascimento gets by Rivera. Real Monarchs looking for their first 3 points here in this MLS Next Pro Invitational. This game has not lacked energy and excitement, that's for sure. Both teams with plenty of chances. 7 shots on goal for the Monarchs, 4 for Crystal Palace. Beautiful night in Sandy, Utah. Again, all these games held here at America First Field. Just a gorgeous complex here at Real Salt Lake. Sandy, Utah, not quite a mile above sea level. Look at London at 33 feet above sea level. Sandy, Utah at 4,000 and just over 300 feet. Sometimes that does make a difference as this strike is going to be smothered. Whitworth able to make sure that he does not spill this ball and covers it up. And then Hoffenheim Crystal Palace game will be Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern. Ola Adebome try to sneak through. Jackson. Curling! Good looking strike there by Jackson, but unable to get it to bend in enough on that far post. Look at this touch. Had the pace that he needed, just did not have the accuracy. And now Jackson will come off. Dominic Barrios will come in. Pierre Beavers. Beavers on the season. He's played in 3 games, 2 of those wins. Jamide surveys. Raymond. Will be how much time is going to be added on here for stoppage for Crystal Palace as they look for a late equalizer. Two straight goals here in the second half for Real Monarchs to give them the 2-1 lead. Lone goal in the first half from Scott Banks in the 31st minute. Then it was Bertrand Jackson in the 51st for the Monarchs, followed up by Owen Anderson in the 83rd. Crystal Palace. Great late. Find a dynamic ball in and see if they can slot something by Beavers to get a late equalizer. 3 minutes of stoppage time here added on into the second half as well. Maybe a chance here late. Nascimento looking to play it in quickly. Now he's going to hold up. Rivera high into the sky. Played down the line. Monarchs option of milking the time or try to put this game away. Let's see what they do. Watson, though, able to snuff that play out. Foul behind by the Monarchs. And that's going to be a booking for Real Monarchs. Griffin Dillon given the yellow. Barrios. Nice little slip ball. Monarchs will let time run out, but offside flag was up. Trying to milk the clock there. Crystal Palace very much in this game. They had the early lead. But second half subs were made. You wonder if that could have played a factor as well. But 2 goals in the second half for Real Monarchs as they look for their first 3 points here in MLS Next Pro Invitational. They're off until Monday where they'll play Hoffenheim. Meanwhile, for Crystal Palace off tomorrow, but they also play Hoffenheim on Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Raymond, looping ball. Watson. Raymond on the end line. Mooney. And there is the whistle. And Real Monarchs will get the win at home by a score of 2-1. It was a hard-fought win for the Monarchs. Scott Baines got things going early for Crystal Palace, coming off a set piece. That one in the 31st minute. Bertrand Jackson would respond in the 51st minute for Real Monarchs. And Owen Anderson would get the game winner in the 83rd minute. And our man of the match tonight is Owen Anderson of the Real Monarchs. And his man of the match is presented to you by Adidas. Here Elijah Paul getting a great strike on, gets by Watson as he goes to the surface. Paul, Whitworth can't handle it, and then Anderson just taps it in with the right to give the Real Monarchs the 2-1 win. That's just their second win at home on the season. Of course, this being a friendly, it doesn't go in the official standings, but you like the response, and that is what Jaimison Olave wanted to see, and they got just that. And for our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Josh Toll. Once again, our final score is Monarchs 2, Crystal Palace 1. Don't forget you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Thank you and good night.
This copyrighted broadcast of MLS Next Pro may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcasted without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.